10 things that Europeans use daily that Americans don't even know about. Wow. I mean, I'm trying to think of what these things could be. And based on this, I mean, this looks like a calendar to me. I'm sure Americans know about calendars, although this word here, this doesn't look like an English word. It looks maybe Scandinavian. So it's like and there's like a list of like things that you can write under each month. So maybe it's like a year's to-do list, which to be fair, we don't really use here. So I mean, maybe there are 10 things that, European things that Americans don't know about.
This might appear at first glance to be a normal calendar. I'm not trying to say that Americans have never seen a calendar before. They just, put the month first, which I kind of agree with in some contexts. But this is a very specific type of calendar used in a very specific location of the house that most everyone knows in the Netherlands, but outside of there, not so much. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. There are a lot of really interesting common household items in different countries in Europe that are pretty rare outside of those countries. What are we going to learn today? A lot. I found this from an Ask Europe thread on this topic. What are some common household items that you were surprised to learn are rare or non-existent in other countries? Netherlands. Has a bathroom birthday calendar been mentioned yet?
A bathroom birthday calendar. Why is it in the bathroom? I mean, I would think, my mum puts the calendar in the kitchen. The kitchen seems like the most kind of sensible place to put a calendar. Why in the bathroom?
By whom? No! So, this specific calendar, what makes this unique? Well, you might notice it doesn't have a year on it. Oh, that's practical, right? That means you only have to buy it once and then you can just kind of keep it forever. That's what the Dutch were thinking too. It is a birthday calendar, but to make things more unique, because you might have heard that before, it's kept in the toilet. For Americans, it's kept in the baño, in the bathroom. You take your poo, you're sitting on the toilet, you look to your left, you've got your Dutch birthday calendar, and you're like, look.
Because when you're in the toilet, like I'm usually looking for something to read. So maybe you can go in there and it's a good time to it's Mark's birthday next week. That can be your reading material, maybe when you're, forcing a deuce out, like,
Luke's birthday's coming up. I've got to remember to give him a greetings card. Or just there. Isn't that convenient? And they just keep these little calendars in the bathroom. They last forever because there's no year on them. And you can always add someone's birthday to it. And therefore, because you're always there in your moment of solace and calm and tranquility, you can have that moment to remember your friends' birthdays. You see, Dutch people are really big into birthday culture. They're really big into celebrating each other's birthdays.
I agree. Someone tell me what they're singing.
And I do want to note a cardinal sin if you ever visit a Dutch person's home and you inevitably come across one of these toilet birthday calendars. Do not write your own name in the calendar. This is actually not cool. That sounds like something out of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Just imagine them getting home one day, sitting in their toilet of solitude and then looking to the left and going, that's not my handwriting. The cheek! I just feel like that. You can't, don't do that.
And do you guys as I'm getting older, I find that I want to celebrate my birthday less and less. Is it just me that has that sensation? I was thinking about it the other day and I think it's because of each birthday, it's like a reminder of that you're getting older. I don't know why it is. I just kind of want to keep it low key these days. Or do you guys like having a big sort of birthday party, doing lots of things?
If you have seen,
maybe I need to lighten up with the birthdays.
one of these outside of the Netherlands, please tell me, because the Dutch seem obsessed with this, honestly, really cute and innocent little idea. Oh, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Evan Ettinger, and I hate intros. So the second one we've got here is, apparently some Europeans, don't remember which, do not use the electric kettle that often. I was shocked because along with the Eurovision Song Contest, I assumed that electric kettles were a core European value.
For me, the electric kettle is just so much quicker than doing it the old-fashioned way on the cooker. On the stove. It takes about a full kettle. For me, it takes about a minute, literally maximum. I think on a stove top, it probably takes at least a couple of minutes, at least, right? Or how long does it take you to boil a big, a full kettle?
I feel like it's the south of Europe. I will say Americans now have some electric kettles. I made a video about it in the past because they're very not popular there, as tea is not the preferred drink of choice as opposed to the standard big amount of coffee filled with vegetable oils called coffee creamer. But electric kettles are starting to grow in the US and also the UK. I feel like most everyone in the UK has an electric kettle. I believe top comment underneath of this says, in Italy, they don't have use for an electric kettle. They're just not gonna drink filter coffee or tea. But it's so useful to boil water really fast, right? Why would you not want it? It's good. Next we have, I have seen your Norwegian cheese.
And I think another one is because we like using hot water bottles here. Do you guys use hot water bottles? You know, the bottle that you put boiling water in there and it keeps you warm. You want, you know, the kettle water as quickly as possible. So we use the kettle. Yeah, they're just so much more convenient.
Cheese planer in various countries in the EU, but a proper Danish style cheese slicer I've yet to find anywhere else. What is this? I have no use for this type of thing. I guess if you want to have slices of a brick of cheese, I guess it makes sense, but I have just used a knife since living here. Just slice the cheese myself. Am I being too extra, or is this too extra? Cool Denmark, but I don't know if anyone, you know, needs it. I feel like I have seen this in the UK. I have seen some families have one of these cheese planer things for Christmas time. You know?
Mate, I've never seen it before, ever. Like, how do you even use it? Do you like run it across the cheese? Kind of like an ice scraper on like your car?
You get the cheese platter, you get one of those, but never had a use for it. Next, Juice of Quebec Bell Pepper Roaster. That has got a niche purpose. I think we have the technological marvel only in Bulgaria. Here is a link. All right, I'm excited to see what this looks like. Oh, I mean, wow. 60 quid, I'm sorry, 60 euro. It's
60 pounds? You're mad.
It's an air fryer in it. It's a Bulgarian air fryer, but just a healthy version. That's actually really interesting. But maybe they just really love their roasted bell pepper.
I mean, just stick it in the oven. Just put it in the oven.
In Bulgaria, that makes sense. 60 quid though, where are you gonna put this?
That's expensive.
Not enough space in my house for that. British homes do not have much room for that. American homes, baby. Americans watching are already on the Amazon affiliate links like, bell pepper roaster. Give it to me, Janet. Next, this is a really stereotypical answer, but Astian Kiovi Sakapi, dish drying cabinet. Oh, perhaps one of the most functional things you can have in your kitchen, even if you have a dishwasher. All right, that is clearly Finnish. What do we got? Let me see what, I mean, I guess that is practical. Every Finnish home, or supposedly the large majority of them, will have this big cupboard next to the sink for you to dry your dishes. Look at that. I can look at this and just think, man, how I'd rather use that space for for anything
storage.
Else.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, don't you guys have the, you know, container where you stack up the plates after you've washed them, you put the plates in there, the water, you know, falls from the plates onto the sink, you know, and then the plates are dry and then you put them away. Like, I think having a whole cupboard just for that, especially in the UK where kitchens are so much smaller than the US, yeah, man, I'd rather use it as like a pantry, you know, or just for storage.
Like storing pantry items because of the size of my flat, but it looks good. Also, to be fair, when I visited Tampere, Finland, which is a city completely surrounded in lakes, the water was delicious. In London, the water is so hard that I feel like if you had one of these types of devices, it would just leave streaks on everything, right? To be fair, I just use a dish drainer on the side. So I'm no better than these people. I also don't care about streaks, except on Duolingo. It seems nice, but it seems like a bit of a waste of space.
I've got a 20-day streak on Duolingo. I'm trying to learn Spanish, and yeah, it's probably one of the most consistent things I've done in my life. Are you guys on Duolingo? I don't know why I felt the need to mention that. I'm just really proud of it.
If you have all the space available for it, I guess that's cool. And to be fair, it does make sense in terms of it's like taking the dish drainer that like I have next to my sink, and I feel like most Brits and most Americans have next to their sink, and it kind of hides it away behind a door. So I would say this is quite supreme, but I'd rather use that space for just any other pantry items. All right, next up, what have you never heard of? Have you heard of the flessentrekker? It's pretty useful. It's literally a bottle puller, a simple item to empty out bottles. Still useful for ketchup bottles, but indispensable when yogurt, etc. Still came in glass bottles instead of in cartons. I mean, It also looks like it could double as a really useful back scratcher. So, I mean...
So you put it in the... I mean, just shake the bottle. Just...
That's useful. Yet again, the Dutch coming through with a practical item to make sure they get every little drop out of their yogurt containers. Also, wow, €3.95. That's a bargain. You might as well pick one up. I'll put a link in the description if you want one of these. Therefore, they're no longer just a Dutch treat. Now everyone can have a flessentrekker. I'm trying to think of how useful this would be for me. I do wish we would go back to many like glass bottles and things in terms of it's just better for the environment and such. And also, just texturally, it feels better. Plastic is bad, but I guess this would be useful for overnight oats to like really get it out. But yet again, a rubber spatula does the same, but maybe this is better because it's got a little scoop. All right, I'll give you that in the Netherlands. Another cool invention. Also, I'm interested. I've got a lot of Europeans in my audience, so I'm hoping they chime in like, actually, we have the flessentrekker as well in Italy. Italy's always coming in here trying to say the guy everything. Actually, it's Portugal. Portugal's probably going to come into my comment section claiming ownership of everything.
By the way, any Americans watching this or Canadians or any other country, have you got the item like that was just discussed or any of the items so far? Because I can say, yeah, like he has delivered. Like none of these items I have ever seen in the UK in any of my friends' houses. Never. Like the closest one was the calendar, but that wasn't really a calendar, was it? That was a different kind of calendar. Never seen any of them.
I went on a trip to Portugal.
And would you have any? Like, would you have any in your house?
For once, and the woman that was giving us a tour tried to tell us that Marco Polo was actually Portuguese, and I went, I've read books before, ma'am. We just went to his hometown. She was like, it depends on what you believe. And I went, okay. Next up, we have maybe not a household item, but I'm amazed how pant, or Pfand in German, isn't a universal thing. When I went to the UK, I bought an energy drink and said to my friend, wait, this one doesn't have any pant. And he thought I was, he had no idea what I was talking about. Yeah, I feel like if you hold an energy drink and go, no pants, people are gonna probably think you've had more than just an energy drink. It's supposed to give you wings, take off your pants maybe.
What is pant?
For those of you not understanding what Pfand or pant is, basically you can go into a shop and if you have any of the glass bottles that you'd bought from previously going to the shop, you can get some of the money back by donating them back and then they're reused. It's kind of a really good system. In Germany, when I was there recently, you can notice that, especially at nighttime, you'll see people going through the bins, pulling out glass bottles because they can actually turn those in, recycle them and get money for them. So it kind of cleans up the recycling, like improves recycling. Also, they find them on the streets and things and gives them money. So it's kind of like a win-win. Also,
cool concept. I mean, it's going to encourage recycling, but you know, most people, can they, like when you've drunk, like finished a can or something, are you going to save? I suppose if you know you're going to get money from it, you might put it aside and save them for when you go back to the store. But a lot of people will just toss them, won't they? They'll just be like, ah.
To be fair, the UK is generally, in terms of culturally, very bad at recycling compared to most European countries, I'd say. The US is much worse from my experience. Even the very green university that I went to in the States, I watched once when the bin men just like took the recycling and the garbage and the glass and the and they just took it and they just put it all in the same thing. And I was like, oh, I hope that's like, I guess gonna be sorted again, but why would you? Plus, I went to a YouTube convention in California once, the big old VidCon, and at the Marriott, I saw this. So that was great. It's just one bag. It's all theater. It's to make you feel like you're recycling. I feel like in Germany and Norway and a lot of places in Europe, they do actually take that seriously. Culturally, they care a bit more about the klima, about the environment. So, hey, it makes sense that they've got that. I do think we should introduce that type of thing to the UK, especially as a way to like give homeless people more money. Like, why not? Next up,
yeah, because I suppose they could treat it as a job. Like they could go around, you know, accumulating these cans and stuff. It's not a bad idea.
We've got washing mitts are some of the most basic items in any Belgian household. But according to Wikipedia, they're not much a thing outside of Benelux, France, and Germany. Benelux, I have never heard of before, but it sounds like it gives you diarrhea. Now, so it's a washcloth that you put your hands in?
Yes, we have these over here. We used to have them in my family's house, but they were more like a glove where like you could move your fingers and stuff. But yeah, I think these are in America as well, aren't they?
That does sound nice, actually. I've not actually seen one of these in the UK or the US, but I like it. I've seen like mitts, like actual mitts that have like scrubby bits on them, but I've never understood the purpose unless you're like a kid. But don't you gift that, but you know, you could use it like, you know what, Belgium? I give this very useful. I think this is a really good item to get for someone for Christmas, especially if it's so rare outside of that area. So I actually think I'm gonna get this for someone I know that just got their first house. A little tea towel gift for their housewarming and hand warming, I suppose. How useful. Next, oh, I forgot about OP. OP is from Sweden, and his claim is the Wetex cloth, the best dishcloth to clean your kitchen with. Every home has one of these in Sweden. Yes, it's that much better than a regular dishcloth or paper towel, and costs like €1 each. Interesting. Wetex.
An euro? Why did he say euro like that?
Sounds too much like Tipex, which I think is what Brits call whiteout. So it's given smelly smells, you know? So basically, listen, I'm not a fan of paper towels. I personally never buy them, but my girlfriend uses them for lots of things. And I'm always like, just use the reusable one. And then when it's dirty, you throw it away. Just, you can wash it. But the Wetex, you basically can use it to dry up loads of things for like 15, 16 uses, and then just throw it in the wash. And then you've got a brand new washcloth. Again, I've also seen some reviews here that say they never.
But what's the difference between that and like a tea towel? You know, those cloths that are like, you know, that you hang on the oven door that you use to wipe things down, because you wash those. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Have needed paper towels after buying one, so I think I'm gonna buy some. He sold me. Yet again, I'm learning a lot through this. If you've never heard of a Wetex, get on down, buy some. I'll put some in the description. Wow, interesting. Apparently, the British have forgotten about mangles. I feel like the British language gets mangled by other languages, but I've never heard of one. I own a mangle, and British colleagues didn't recognize it. All right, let's look up what a mangle is here. That's how I type. I have boxing gloves on, and I type with boxing gloves on. So let's say, oh, there's a reason Brits probably don't recognize one, because Brits don't usually keep items.
Mate, this is like from the Victorian times or something. This looks like something a chimney sweeping kid would use, like just after he's got, like, what even is this? Like, I can't even, what does this do?
From the 19th century, maybe? What is this meant to do? Flatten your clothes? Also, this takes up a huge amount of space. It looks hardcore. Like,
so it's a clothes press. So you put wet clothes and it squeezes the water out?
It looks cool, but it looks like something you'd see in like a museum in Birmingham or something. Just imagine walking into someone's home and they've got one of these in the corner. I'm like, wow, this small amount of space you have, and you chose to dedicate this entire corner to this mangles? I don't get it. I don't get it. Also in England, finding a regular Mora knife was not easy. Yeah, different things like that. I guess it'd be hard to get around. It's weird hearing someone say it's hard to find a knife in the UK, but hey, I do live in London. Then we also have the pafletti, sauna seat cover. I've never encountered that abroad. Well, the Finnish people, they love the sauna. Of course, they're gonna have a specific word for a specific thing. Isn't it just a towel? Are you not just laying a towel down on the sauna? You're gonna call that a thing? Pafletti is a sheet of paper, cardboard, cloth, foam, rubber, or other soft material that is placed on the sauna bench and then sat on. Well, should have brought that with me to Germany for my little German experience.
But why do you need to sit on that? Just sit on the bench. Unless you're, you know, super scared of germs, maybe.
It's where I had to get nude. That's probably why it's not a big thing in the UK. We don't have many nude saunas. But then again, when I was in Germany, everyone just used their normal towel.
Oh, right. I see. Okay, they're for saunas where you go in there wearing absolutely nothing. Right.
To go underneath of them in the nude sauna. So I kind of like the idea of having a specific thing just for sauna seat cover, but it makes sense that that's not as popular. I mean, I use a sauna quite regularly, and most people there don't even use a towel under their bum-bums. So, why did I say bum-bums? You get a point, Finland. I'm not getting one, but that's cool. The electric cheese grater. Although not completely surprising, it's not common outside of Italy. How much cheese do you need to grate? I actually have never heard of an electric cheese grater before. It makes sense. Whenever I'm grating a lot of hard cheese, like for a cacio e pepe, I feel like that's the only time where I'm like, I wish I had a faster method. Yet again, please don't gift this. But for fruit and vegetables.
I mean, this seems like one to me where the manual way would be easier, because like to clean this thing, you're gonna have to take it apart, almost like a juicer. Like you're gonna have to take that off, and you're gonna have to take off, you know, probably the thing in the middle that pushes the cheese. Just get one of the old school ones. I sound so old fashioned right now. I'm just yelling at all of the new inventions.
Oh, okay, so you don't have to just use it for cheese. That's pretty cool. Also, I imagine that is not enjoyable to clean. So I feel like that'd be more trouble than it's worth.
Exactly.
But I think I'm good do it myself. Cheese puns, all right? They're not great. Stop! I wouldn't
Not
buy an
bad.
electric cheese grater. That would take up so much space on my countertop. But cool. Italy, you got something unique. I've never heard of one. Next, I'm not sure if it's died back a bit now, but Scottish houses all have a spurtle. A spurtle for making porridge. Using a wooden spoon is okay as long as you stir the pot with the handle, not the spoon. What is a squirtle? That's the Elder Wand. So basically, it's a stick, right?
It legit looks like the Harry Potter Elder Wand. Like, what is this? Like, Avada Kedavra.
You've got a very nice word for a stick. According to Wikipedia here, it says a spurtle is a wooden Scottish kitchen tool dating from the 15th century to stir porridge, soups, stews, and broths. But the rod-like shape means that the porridge can be stirred without congealing and forming lumps. I guess if you were mixing porridge with a spoon, the spoon part is gonna be like really coagulating it all, making it all stick together, whereas this is just proper mixing. You could have a slotted spoon. No, I guess that would cause too much drag as well. So the Scottish people went, just use a stick. I like the shape. I'd want to hold it in my hand, but I bet you have to make it yourself, right? Where's my grandpappy? He's gonna make me one. You can buy a spurtle for £3.50.
I mean, at least it's cheap. This is the thing. If these things were super cheap, like the pepper roaster, like if that was £10 or $10, then I guess it's worth just buying it just to have it just in case, or as a novelty item. But 60 quid for that pepper roaster is just crazy expensive, isn't it?
Wow, I don't know how often you're making porridge. I'm actually not. I make overnight oats, so they kind of just look like the forgotten legs of a wooden chair, right? Like I'm just looking at this like, yeah, it's just chair leg. Just grab a chair leg. You can't even throw your granny off a bus, all right? Instead, take her by the chair legs, the spurtles. Either way, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've actually learned quite a lot today, and I've definitely added a few things to my cart. I'm excited to try out the cheap things. No offense, I don't need a bell pepper roaster, but I'm excited for this Swedish washcloth. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys. If you'd like.
Fun video. Out of all of the ones on the list, I'm trying to think of which one would I use the most. Probably, maybe the first one, the calendar, the one with the birthday things on the bathroom door. Potentially that one, just because, having it right in front of me every time I use the toilet would really get me to remember them. Yeah, probably that one, maybe closely followed by the gloves, the wash gloves. Outside of those two, I can't say I would have any other ones. Let me know which ones you'd go for, but I suspect you're probably thinking what I'm thinking. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.